Now coming to a 2019 question. In 2019, a question was asked, and this is the format of the question. The question reads as per the recent amendments to the Indian Forest Act of 1927, forest dwellers have the right to fell the bamboos grown on forest areas. Second statement reads as per the Scheduled Tribes and Other Traditional Forest Dwellers Act of 2006, bamboos are minor forest produce. The third statement is the Scheduled Tribes and Other Traditional Forest Dwellers Act of 2006 allows ownership of minor forest produce to forest dwellers. Before we go into the question, let me just try to paint a picture for you regarding this. The reason why this question I've picked in the environment section is only because the first statement they have asked about the Indian Forest Act. Why? Because the other act that they are mentioning in the question is not primarily an environment act. If you look at it, the Forest Dwellers Act or your Scheduled Tribes and Other Forest Dwellers Act, which is mentioned over there, or otherwise called as your Forest Rights Act of 2006. This is not an environment act. This is primarily coming under the administration of Ministry of Tribal Affairs. Got it? So I've picked it because that first statement deals with it and we have to discuss about bamboo also a little bit. That is why I've picked it. But I want you to get this in your head clearly. The Forest Rights Act is not under any of your environment provisions. If they ask which ministry is it responsible to, it is your Ministry of Tribal Affairs. Now coming to the specific question. In the specific question, they've said there is a recent amendment to the Indian Forest Act. Yes. In 2018, there was an amendment to your Forest Act. Okay. As per that, what happened is bamboo. Now, bamboo is one plant that is quite important when it comes to both your, whoever is living in the forest premises for their any kind of livelihood, any kind of craft creation, all of these things, bamboo is quite important. Now, bamboo is one plant which has different provisions when it comes to forest and non-forest areas. First of all, bamboo in non-forest areas, earlier bamboo used to be considered as a tree, and in all of the cases what happens is if there is a felling of the bamboo, the people who have cut down bamboo would be punishable. But now bamboo's administration happens under two categories: bamboo which is grown in forest areas and bamboo which is grown in non-forest areas. Now, when it comes to non-forest areas, wherever you have bamboo, you can fell it, you can, wherever you can cut it down and you can use it for your purpose. Bamboo grown in forest areas still remains protected. Okay. So now when you look at it, as per the recent amendment to the Indian Forest Act, forest dwellers have the right to fell the bamboos grown on forest areas. That is wrong, because even the recent amendment, what it did is in the non-forest areas which fall beyond the boundaries of the forest, from there you can cut your bamboo and you can sell it and do whatever, but not from the forest areas. So the first statement is actually wrong. Now, when the first statement is wrong and you look at the second and third, the third becomes quite clear to us that it is correct. What is the third statement? The Scheduled Tribes and Other Traditional Forest Dwellers Act 2006 allows ownership of minor forest produce to forest dwellers. See, this is where you have to understand why I kept on telling in the beginning that it's not an environment act. Any environment act, their primary aim would be to protect the natural resources over there, the plants over there, the animals over there, etc. This act is from the human side of it. Human side of it means they are trying to say, okay, yeah, you can protect the plants, but then what will you do to the humans living over there? How will they live? So it's primarily the rights of the people in those areas that your Forest Rights Act of 2006 takes care of. Now, one major source of income for your forest dwellers is something called as your minor forest produce. Honey, wax, this kind of produces lac and everything that you get from your trees and other resources from your forest areas. So yes, this is correct. The ownership of minor forest produce primarily go on to the forest dwellers. So now when it comes to this particular act over here, you do see that here in the second statement, as per the Scheduled Tribes Act of 2006, bamboo is a minor forest produce. That is correct. The first statement is wrong for us. Why? Because the right to fell bamboos on non-forest areas is what is given to your forest dwellers over there. And to do this, what they have changed is, they have changed the definition of bamboo as a tree. Okay, so this is what has happened. The answer to this question over here is B, 2 and 3 only. Moving forward, we have a question from 2019. The question reads as per the solid waste management rules of 2016 in India, which one of the following statements is correct? First says, waste generator has to segregate waste into 5 categories. The rules are applicable to be notified under urban local bodies, notified towns and all industrial townships only. The rules provide for exact and elaborate criteria for the identification of sites for landfills and waste processing facilities. It is mandatory, the part of the waste generator, that the waste generated in one district cannot be moved to another district. So in this particular question, you will see that this primarily deals with the solid waste management rules that are there, and in the solid waste management rules, there is one category of population, people that they call as waste generators. Then you have garbage collectors. So waste generators are anyone that is contributing to the solid waste in that specific area. Garbage collectors are those who are coming and collecting the garbage from these respective sites. Now, when I'm saying waste generator, it is not some very alien term. Why? Because this is something that we all are aware of. We all are waste generators and we do dispose of our garbage to garbage collectors. So now think of it. The first statement reads as, waste generator has to segregate waste into 5 categories. Do you think that's true? Even the very minimum level where the waste generator has been asked to segregate waste into 3 categories, that is what the Act said, you have to regulate it into 3, that in itself is not happening in a proper manner. So you have to actually segregate it or separate it into 3 particular categories. So statement 1 is wrong. Second statement reads as, the rules are applicable to notified urban local bodies, notified towns and all industrial townships only. That again is wrong, because even in rural areas, even in areas beyond municipal boundaries, this act is now applicable. So your second statement is also wrong. The third statement reads, the rules provide for the exact and elaborate criteria for identification of sites for landfills and waste processing facilities. That is something that is being mentioned in the Act in clear terms. The last statement reads, it's mandatory that from the part of the waste generator, that the waste generated in one district cannot be moved to another district. Now, this is something that you only think and tell me, will there be some kind of a restriction like this? No, there's nothing like that. The last statement is wrong. The answer to this question is C. There is a question in 2019. The question reads as, in India, extended producer responsibility was introduced as an important feature in which of the following? The Biomedical Waste Management and Handling Rules 1998, the Recycled Plastic Manufacturing and Usage Rules 1999, the E-Waste Management and Handling Rules 2011, the Food and Safety and Standards Regulation 2011. Extended producer responsibility was a very novel idea that said that if someone's producing a good and he's putting it into the market, his responsibility does not end with the sale of it. His responsibility is extended even into the aftercare of it, the repair of it, the recycling of it. All of the stages after that is also the producer's responsibility. This is what is called as extended producer responsibility. And the first time it actually came into action was with your e-waste management rules, because India happens to be the third largest e-waste generator in the world. So as part of it, we needed to reduce our e-waste generation, and this is where you had this particular act coming in. So the answer to this particular question is C.